So, welcome to tonight's live Facebook Live with Rise and Win Coach Cynthia Newell of Dare to Dream. I support my clients with releasing internal struggles effectively so that they can walk in newness. And so, tonight's live is the first of a four-part series. I think it's 4 weeks in this, 4 Mondays in this month. If not, it's a five. It's the first part of the series. Let's talk about your dreams, what your dreams want you to know. And so, I feel that dreams are often overlooked. Like we have the tool of, there was something specific that I wanted to say, but we use journaling, we use prayer, we use different mediums to connect with God, and I think that dreams are often overlooked. Sometimes we minimize our dreams down to thinking that maybe it was something that I watched on TV before I went to sleep, or maybe it was something that I ate before I went to sleep that triggered this dream. But based upon my empirical experience and knowledge, dreams definitely come with messages to help you navigate life. They come to give you wisdom, they come to answer those pressing questions. When you are in the crux of life, you can, like I've learned to do, rely on your dreams to help you understand where you are in life, who you're showing up as in life, what you need to change, who's for you, who's not for you. Dreams offer us so much information, and for the Christian believers out there, you are aware, you know that dreams are all in and throughout the Bible. You have Joseph, you have Daniel. Even when God was asking Solomon what he desired, that was Solomon communing with God through his dreams. And so I believe in the power of dreams. My dreams have saved my life. I want to share a story because we're talking about, and I got my notes here. So we're talking about why you may stop dreaming. So let me tell you about my story. So I remember back in 2014, I was homeless. I had gotten married for a second time, and because of the first marriage, I decided that I was going to be submissive and let the spouse lead. And the spouse was not equipped enough to lead. And so, where that led us to was homelessness. And in that experience, I remember that I stopped dreaming. I was consumed with emotions of feeling defeated. I was in disbelief that this was even my life, having been a very successful woman. And I disconnected myself. I disconnected from people. I disconnected from church. I disconnected from the possibilities in life. I was just out there, and I was very angry and disgusted, by what my life had become. There were in an extended stay where, most of the time you see people that I have my judgments, and so because of my judgments I judge myself because of my situation. So I was focused on the situation. How could I be in this predicament? I was not focused on solutions. I was very much drowned in, like, how could this happen to me type of mentality. I blamed my spouse for the conditions that we were in, and I blocked myself from God because I couldn't pray. And because I couldn't pray, I couldn't hear from God. I couldn't listen to God's voice because I really didn't want to listen to God's voice. I was angry with God. How could you let me be in this situation? And I was following your word of letting the man lead, and this is where he led me to. And so I was very much consumed with my emotions, and I was very much unfocused on the possibilities and the doors that God could open. And because of that, my dreams just stopped. So I was in a sunken place. I was angry, and I kept thinking that this just cannot be my life. I can't believe that being submissive landed me here. Maybe about 5 years prior to that, I had just started Dare to Dream. So here I am. I'm like, God, I'm a joke. You have me out here coaching people, coaching them through to their excellence and reaching their goals. And here I am in a homeless extended stay. I'm about to be a grandmother. I don't have a home for my grandson that's about to be born. out there. And so, what I learned through that experience, and I'm going to tell you, more about the story, but I just want to share with you 10 reasons why you possibly can't remember your dreams, or why you don't dream. And so, one of the reasons, if you listen to the story, the experience that I just shared, one of the reasons is you have closed your heart to God. You've closed your heart to God because things didn't go the way that you anticipated them going. You are disappointed and you're frustrated, and a lot of times we want to be in control of things. Hey, 1212 community, thank you for being here tonight. We want to be in control of things, and it's not a bad thing, but it's just you want to feel safe. You want to know what's the next step. Sometimes you don't want to walk by blind faith. You want to know, okay, where are we going, God? And when things, when they feel like you have fallen off of a cliff, or you just end up somewhere you never imagined being in life, it can cause you to become so engulfed in emotion that you close your heart to God. And so that's one of the reasons why you may not dream, or you can't remember your dream. Another reason is you're focusing on the problem too much. So, as I stated in my story, my experience of being homeless back in 2014, every day I woke up, I just saw I'm in an extended stay. I don't have my own home. When I left to go to work, I was mad. When I came back, I was pissed. I didn't cook in there, like I didn't do anything. I didn't go to the grocery store. Now, how we ate, I don't even remember. But I was so focused on the problem that I couldn't see any other area of my life, and therefore my mind had stopped allowing me to dream. Like, it was just blank. Every night I remember I would go to sleep and nothing, and I wasn't even looking for dreams. I didn't want to even have a dream. I just wanted them to leave me alone. So if you're focusing so much on the problem, and that's even in your waking life, you're focusing so much on the problem, you can't hear a solution. You can't see the answer. You can't be guided to where you need to be at an appointed time, because you're so ingrained, you're so engulfed in what's happening and your disbelief that it has happened, and you're judging yourself. So, number one is you have closed your heart to God. That's a possible reason why you don't dream, or you can't remember your dreams. Another reason is you're focusing on the problem too much. Number three is you've checked out emotionally. So, some things that come upon us, and I know life can be trying, miscarriages, loved ones being murdered, if your home has been robbed, a lot of things can happen, that can cause us to just disconnect and become so overwhelmed with emotions that we check out, because we feel that it's safer. If I just don't feel nothing, if I just numb myself, then I can't hurt anymore. Nothing will hurt me anymore. But what that does is it disconnects you from God's love. It disconnects you from your self love. You can't feel, you can't receive, you can't give. And so that will block you from being able to dream or remember your dreams. And so, number four is you've never considered dreams to be a way that God communes with you. So I've had conversations with people who just don't believe that dreams are really messages from God. And I mean, to each his own. We all have our own path and our own experiences. I just know since the age of 12 that my dreams have been very instrumental in me understanding how I feel, why I feel what I feel, what to do about those feelings. But if you choose to turn a blind eye, it's just like saying that there's no possibility or no way that I can do this thing or buy this thing. The Bible tells us that there is life and death in the tongue. We can produce life. We can produce situations in our life through what we say. Every word that proceeds out of your mouth is a seed, and it gets planted, and it will produce after its own kind. So if you are walking around and you don't believe, then you cannot receive. You have to believe in the power of dreams. You have to believe in the power of God can commune with me in dreams. I'm not exempt. So if for any reason, like it could be a judgment that you've have against yourself. It could be nobody ever taught you about dreams. It's something that you guys never just talked about in your home. But you have a curiosity. If that's what led you here tonight, then that's an invitation from heaven that it's time for communication to start taking place in your dreams. So, number one, you have closed your heart to God. Number two, you're focusing on the problem too much. Number three, you've checked out emotionally. And number four, you've never considered dreams to be a way that God communes with you. So, number five, you've asked for your dreams to stop. So, you blatantly told your dreams, I just leave me alone. I don't want no parts. And I remember talking to a young man, and he said at an early age he had asked God to stop his dreams because he kept dreaming of things that will come to pass, people passing away and things happening in the family. And he didn't want that responsibility. He didn't want to see it. It was just too bothersome for him to see what was going on. So he asked for God to stop his dreams. I believe that God loves us so much that sometimes he will honor our prayer request, a request like that. And so if you've asked God to stop your dreams, you can certainly ask God to restart your dreams. So, number seven, this is a powerful one. You don't set intentions to remember your dreams or to dream at all. So, one of the things that I'm going to be teaching at the upcoming Dream Speak retreat is how to set powerful dream intentions so that you can guide your dreams and open up your mind to receive the information that you need to proceed successfully, to proceed confidently. And so, setting dream intentions, just like setting life intentions, it gives your life guidance. It gives your dreams guidance. What do I desperately want to know or need to know? Are you making a big decision and you really don't know which path to go down, and you just need some spiritual insight that can push past all of the distractions of everyday life? With everyday life, we have so much going on that sometimes it's very difficult to hear from God, and sometimes it's hard to hear from ourselves, and so being able to set powerful dream intentions will help you to open your heart to receive the information that you need. I've set dream intentions by doing some simple things, and I see the results happen quickly, as I'm expecting. When you have a heart of expectation, it's like an anticipating child. God is going to honor that request, and you're open to receive. He will deliver an answer. And so setting powerful dream intentions before you go to bed is a very good way to open yourself back up to dreaming again. So let's move to number 8. Number 8 is you're mentally blocked. And so, as I was talking before, life is very, there's a lot of moving parts to life. In addition to managing your body, just look at your body. So, just look at your body. If you just look at your face, you got your eyes, I got my glasses on, I got my hair, I got my ears, I got teeth, I got my nose, my eyes, all these things. That's just one part of the body that I have to deal with. Go see the eye doctor, I got to go see the dentist. If there's an issue, I just went to see I forgot what the trichologist, I think, yeah, trichologist about my hair. And all those things, they add up, but all of that that's just one part of your body. You got your brain, if you have headaches. So life is very full for us. If you have families, if you have a job, if you just exist, and if it's just you, there's a lot to life. And so sometimes you can just be mentally blocked because you're so consumed with all of the other things that you have going on. Now I'm gonna put my coach hat on. In a recent session with one of my clients, I was telling her that about the power of compartmentalizing, and understanding what's in your control and what's not in your control, and then the art of prioritizing your responsibilities, prioritizing what you're choosing to focus on, prioritizing thing as much as you can, prioritizing things. I know for me, I'm a very structured person. My friend Alicia says it's the seven in me. But if things are not structured for me, I just don't function well. And so I have to have structure, so that I don't get to that point where I'm mentally black. But I have experienced it, where I have mentally blocked and I could not receive. I was just too full. So I'm going to talk about some tips of how you can move past these things, but I just want to share two more things. So the next two is you don't believe in the power of dreams. I was surprised that someone had told me that dreams are not of God, that God doesn't speak to us through dreams. And like I shared earlier in the broadcast, there are numerous accounts of God speaking to individuals in their dreams through in the Bible. Now, I'm not a scientist. I'm not, yeah, Alicia, girl, that's what they said. They don't believe that is not of the Lord. That's what they said with the T at the end. And so you got to be careful, Hey, sister. Oh, my sister's here. Yeah, Miss Melanie, Leslie, that's what I was doing. But I can only go by my experience. We all have different experiences. And so I know for me, I have found that dreams definitely speak. There have been countless situations in which I needed answers. I didn't know what to do. Just like the story about being homeless. I didn't know what to do. I was so fed up. I was so disgusted. I could not hear from God. But before I tell you what happened, I'm going to give you number 10. And number 10 is you just may be overwhelmed with life. You may be overwhelmed with life and you just can't take anymore. You can't take anymore. And so you block yourself, you disconnect, and you just shut yourself off. And so I'm sure that there are many, many reasons, other reasons as to why you don't dream or you can't remember your dream. But these are the ones that I personally experienced, and then just working with other clients, they've experienced some of these things too. Some people just never pay attention to dreams. It was just never anything that they ever thought of, So back to my story. So in 2014, for those that may have joined a little late, I was homeless and I couldn't dream. And so I remember one night, I didn't listen to music. I didn't do anything. I went to sleep and I went to work and, bathe and all of that, but I didn't eat. I was just so disgusted. But I remember one night I decided to play some music and I turned on Pandora. How many of you all remember Pandora? I turned on Pandora and it just played different songs or whatever. And there was this song that came on by Ty Tribbett, and the name of that song was "He Turned It." And so I was sitting there in the seat in the living room of the extended stay, just listening, and that song made me get up out of my seat, and I just started praising God. I was just like, wow. And then so I found the song on YouTube and I just played it on repeat. And I remember crying and just, letting it all out, all of the emotions that I had held in, all of the disgust, all of the frustration, all of the betrayal that I felt. I just let it all out and I cried. And that's one of the things, I didn't have that wrote down as a tip, but sometimes you just need to cry. You just need to release. It's just like Abraham, or I think it was Abraham. He had the rod. Was it Abraham? Y'all check me if I'm wrong. But God couldn't do anything with that rod as long as he kept holding it. When he let the rod go, God turned it into a snake. But you have to open up and let go, open up and release. So if you're holding all these emotions, I had a client tell me they don't like to cry. Well, you can't receive anything if you're holding all of that in. But anyway, I had a big cry and I just told God, I said, I don't know how you're going to Moses. Okay, thank you. Moses, you're going to get me out of this situation, but I'm open to know. I'm open to know. And I remember I went to sleep that night and I didn't dream anything. I got ready for, when I woke up in the morning, I was getting ready for work, and this preacher, Creflo Dollar, was on the television. Now, things were changing because I never would turn on the TV. I never associated living with that place. It's just, I didn't do it. I would come home and go to work, come home. I don't even know how my oldest daughter was with my mother at the time because she was expecting, and my middle daughter at the time, she was the youngest, she was there, but she was able to fend for herself. But I was really like in a funk. I don't even want to say I was depressed, but maybe I was. But that morning I turned on the TV, and Creflo Dollar, he's on the TV, and he's talking about you getting ready to come out, and God's going to give you the answers. Just open up your heart. And he was giving scripture, and I'm standing there ironing my clothes, and I'm like, wow, okay, God. So there I am opening up and receiving message. So you see, the first message came through the music, that God was turning it. It's when I decided to open up and not just be so consumed by what I was dealing with. He started sending messages through the music, and then he sent the message through the television. And I always call that type of stuff breadcrumbs in my life. He'll start doing it on a small scale this way, and then it gets bigger and it gets bigger. And so then that night I had a dream, and the dream was really interesting. And I just knew that the dream, and I ain't gonna leave y'all hanging. At first I was like, I was gonna put the link in here and say, go listen to it, subscribe to Bedtime Stories first season, and listen to it there. I mean, you can still do that, but it's the dream about the Chinese man. I just put the link in there. But I had a dream about a Chinese man. It was dark outside, and this Chinese, I was in a white van. I was coming out of a convenience store, and this stranger, he came up to me and he touched me on my arm, and I'm like, why are you touching me? I don't know you. I had a bad attitude in a dream, just but he said, I'm here to help you. And I was like, he looked like he couldn't help me. So he touched me 3 times, and he said, I'm here to help you. And so I remember the dream kind of fading away. But when I woke up the next morning, I just had an inkling to reach out to this certain person. And I asked her, I said, do you know any private landlords? And the young lady said, yes, I do. He's an Oriental, he's a Chinese man, so you'll probably have to text him because you won't understand what he's saying. And y'all, the rest of the story is history. No, but I listen, subscribe to the Bedtime Story podcast. That story is in there. But I met with him in that marriage. Credit got shot. I never had evictions before, but I had two. And I don't blame this person. It was just all a part of my experience. I wouldn't be who I am today had I not had that experience. But when I pulled up to the house, this hawk flew over, and it was like confirmation. Like, if you want this house, you can have it, but you need to make up your mind and trust me. I went in the house. I was concerned because I had these evictions. And I told the man, I said, I will pay you. Like, I have this stuff that's, these evictions and whatever. And he was like, well, let me think about it. He called me back a couple of days. He said, if you could pay 2 months deposit, then I will rent the house to you. And luckily I had it because there was this lawsuit that everything just fell in place. Like, I had lived in this area. It's called Earth City here in St. Louis, Missouri, where it's by the landfill. And they were saying it was hazardous something. But anyway, I got a check for me and my 2 daughters, and I just set that $6,000 aside, and that was our moving money. So dreams speak, y'all, and y'all have to listen to your dreams. And the way to get back to dreaming, if you've stopped dreaming, or you don't remember your dreams, the first thing is to set a dream intention. So one of the things that I do is I will write the intention on my on a post-it or something, and I'll put it under my pillow. Or if I have a question that I need God to answer, I'll write it and I'll put it in my pillowcase and I'll sleep on it. And I'm telling you, y'all, it works. So you have to write your question, write your intention. What do you want to know? What question do you need answered? Where do you need guidance in your life? Where are you feeling hopeless? Where are you feeling like you missed the mark? Where are you questioning? Are you questioning the people that's in your life? Are you questioning their love for you? If they're honest, if they're loyal, whatever it is, there is no limit. God cares about the things that we care about. God is not a far off and we're down here. And God created us to love us, not to leave us in the dark and have us struggle. And so, why not use this tool that's already available to you, which is your dreams? And what I love about dreams is God speaks individually to you in a language that you can understand. And if you don't understand, you have people like me that can interpret your dream for you and help you, apply that information to your life. But try it tonight. Write out a dream intention, write out a question that you want God to answer. Put it under your pillowcase and just trust and believe like a little child who has gave their parents their birthday wish. Trust and believe that God is going to send you the answer. And then next week when we come together, I want to hear all about it. But that's number one. Number two is performing a nightly dump. And so our days are full of things that we go through. And sometimes we're on autopilot. We don't even pay attention to all the stuff, that we encounter throughout the day. But being able to sit maybe 10 to 15 minutes before it's time for you to go to bed, think about who you might need to forgive, or just process your day, how your day started off, or what you need to surrender. Maybe you've carried something that you're agitated about and you just need to give it to God. And then expressing gratitude. What are you thankful for about your day? Just releasing. One of the things I do in addition to the 1212 community, which is Alicia Johnson, we do these 30-day journaling challenges. Right now we're doing Impatience. If you don't know about Alicia Johnson, you need to find her on Facebook because it's powerful journaling that changes your life. But another type of journaling that I do is called bullet journaling. And that's just, I'm trying to get my bullet journal out this drawer, but it's like I'm not artistic, y'all, but it's just different little things that you can do. Like this one is I'm grateful for. And you just fill the page up with all the things that you're grateful for. I'm trying to find what I did. But you can just jot down, here's one of a brain dump. And it's just all the things that just was on my mind, that bothered me. A little girl bullying my daughter, or the person that cut me off in line, or the person that bought my lunch, paid for my lunch while I was in the drive-through line. Just a brain dump, just dumping it all out. And what you're doing is you're emptying yourself out so you can receive from God in your dreams. And so, a brain dump, doing gratitude list, who you're forgiving, surrendering any situation that feels way heavier than what you can carry. Those are the types of things that you can do in a nightly dump or a nightly release. And so, yeah, putting your attention under, oh God, you will love the bullet journal. Like, this is like, it's fun to me because I like to be, now you done got me on a tangent now, but you can track, oh my God, this is my answered prayer. So I do it by months. And I need to start my one for May, but you give it like different little themes. For February, I focused on love and self-care and self-love. I did a something new bingo, and you get to just check off the things that you did. And I just broke mine down because I don't want to say anal, but creative like that. But like B was belief. So what new belief do I want to try? I need to do a whole live about this. Ideas, what networks, grub, and outings, and then you just write down different things that you want to try, and you mark them off as you do them. And when you get bingo, you can give yourself something, or you could just, celebrate what you did. But I wrote a love letter to myself. Like, it's just a fun, creative way to doodle. You could do to-do lists. You could do what your goals are for the month. So even we do the life path or year cycle work in the 1212 community. You can track like the weekly assignments. It's kind of like the journal that you gave us, Alicia, or that we bought with that program. But bullet journaling is another way you can just capture it. You can track things. And so the last thing is, when you wake up in the morning, this is number 3. When you wake up in the morning, just sit for 5 minutes. Don't grab anything. Don't get out the bed. I mean, if you can stay there, most of us have to use the ladies' room when we get up. But if you don't, just lay in the bed, keep your eyes closed, and just see what comes up. See what comes up for you, because sometimes the information is there, but are so we get up. I'm not gonna say we're so eager, but we get up and we have to go and deal with life and get the babies ready or get ready for work or whatever. But give yourself like 5 to 10 minutes just to sit there and see what comes up. And of course, you want to have your dream journal right next to you, right next to your bed. And even if just tidbits come up, thank God for that tidbit and just let God know you're open to receive more. And so, dreams are powerful. We're talking about dreams this whole month. Every Monday, I'm going to be here. We're going to talk about, different aspects of dreams. Next week, I want to talk about nightmares, and the power of nightmares. So, but if you have questions that you want me to answer during this series, it's the entire month of May. Feel free to inbox me if you have just I dreamt about a fish or my grandmother or anything you want to ask me about dreams. This is your time to get your questions answered. And then in the month of June, so I'm opening up what is called the Dream Circle. So enrollment will start for that. And the Dream Circle is a more intimate space where you not only get your dreams interpreted, but you get lessons on dream information, how to you get worksheets, downloads, classes, and that circle is just $37 a month. It's a Facebook community where you come, it's exclusive for members only. But you come and you get content like this, and you get your dreams interpreted live, and you get discounts on upcoming events. And so just be on the lookout for more information about that. And then we have the Dream Speak retreat coming up in November 8th through the 11th here in St. Louis, Missouri, the 10th, I'm sorry, 8th through the 10th. But it's here in St. Louis. Will you discuss nested dreams, like dreams within a dream within a dream? Yes, we can discuss that. So I will put that on the agenda and see what God would want me to share about that, because I've certainly had that. Lucid dreaming, certainly had those types of dreams. And now that I've learned more about them and I can speak into those dreams, I just can't wait to share all this stuff. So yes, I have a lot of things in store for us, and I hope you all will join me again next week, same time. Invite someone. You can share this live once it post. Share it with someone who you feel can benefit from this information. Yeah, those are scary, those dreams within a dream within a dream. And I don't have any scientific backing, but I'm going to share with you what God has given to me about those dreams, the different levels of our subconscious mind at play. So we'll talk more about that. And then anything else, like I said, message me here on Facebook. Make sure you like the Dare to Dream page if you haven't done so already, so you can stay up to date. Follow me on YouTube also, Dare to Dream. I'm on YouTube. I have some a podcast there. Where Are They Now? With clients who I've interviewed. I've done a dream interpretation session for them, and they're talking about their experience and how that played out in their life, how it helped them to move forward in their life, have the confidence that they need, the clarity that they need, the reassurance that they needed. And so check that out, Dare to Dream on YouTube. And so thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you found value in the content that I shared tonight. I really enjoyed being here. I love talking about dreams. I love the dream world. I hope you can feel it through the screen. But good night, everyone. See you next week.